Hey, what's up, everybody? It's TJ with Sanctified Homes, and today we are at the Lindsay Window Facility with Steve Rankin. So he helps us in Wisconsin, specifically making sure we have the right glass, all of that. Steve came from a background in products and windows and selling those pretty much your whole life, right?
My entire career, yep. Going on 25 years.
And then, what was it, 2, 3, 4 years ago? I don't know the exact thing.
2020.
So he came over to Lindsay. You guys know, if you have built with us or seen some of our homes, we're putting all Lindsay windows in, and we're hoping to explain some of that and learn about more of, if I'm a consumer, I'm coming to you and I'm going, hey, tell me about your windows. Why are your windows great? Why did you come over to Lindsay Window? And, let's kind of just speak to that for people to understand.
Great question. So in my former job, I sold building products, basically for anything for the exterior of the home. And one of the things I was really interested in was the window side of it. And at the time, I could sell probably 8 different brands of windows. But I found myself always selling the Lindsay window for a few reasons. 1, they had everything I wanted. 2, I loved the people in the organization. 3, the quality and the experience was fantastic. So I got the opportunity to come work here at Lindsay in 2020, and I took it because I felt really confident in the product. And it just went from there. I figured, as a sales guy, I want to sell something I love because it makes it easier.
Yeah.
And so it's been a beautiful situation ever since.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So, some of the main reasons in that I believe Lindsay has the edge over many of our competitors is just they don't spend a lot of effort on marketing. We don't have ads all over the TV. We don't have ads on the radio, but we have 7 plants across the country. We're in the top 10 vinyl manufacturers of windows in the country, but we're not so well known necessarily because of the lack of marketing. But we've grown to this level because people, when they use us, when they try us, they never turn away because they see the advantage.
Yeah.
And those advantages are everything we put into our product. One of the biggest things is our glass. That's your window. What do you want to do with that window? You want to look through it. So the glass is a pretty important thing. And one of the biggest problems in the window industry, or one of the biggest failures in the window industry, is seal failure. That's that haziness you see after 10, 20 years in some of your windows. And that's caused by the argon gas inside that window escaping due to the seal around the window failing. And one of the big things that we do differently here at Lindsay is not only do we buy Cardinal's glass, which most manufacturers buy Cardinal glass, but we buy their actual IG, which is the sandwich of the unit. And that IG has a 20-year seal failure rate of 0.2%, which is ridiculously low.
Right. So when you speak to this, because I'm not the window expert, when you say IG and some people buy their glass, are you saying that they buy the glass and they put it together, or?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So IG stands for insulated glass unit. And so that's the whole package, and your dual pane, that's both panes with the seal around it. So it's more affordable for a window manufacturer to buy the glass only and then put that seal on themselves. They get a little more control over the process. They save money. But the problem is the material that they use to do that has a tendency to fail much quicker at a much faster rate. And the research that I've done shows that at 20 years, that if you're using a good company, that seal failure rate could be anywhere between 3 and 15%. Yeah. So we're talking exponentially different seal failure rate compared to the 0.2% of the Cardinal. At our plant in this facility in Illinois, in the last 10 years, we've had 1 seal failure.
Yeah.
It was 0 until last year, but we had 1.
Yeah.
So that is just ridiculously low.
Well, you're putting out 1,000. I don't know how many windows do you put out in a year.
Oh yeah, we're probably doing anywhere from 600, 700, 800 pieces of glass a day. Well, that's windows a day, so you multiply that by how many panels in each window. So thousands a day, I would say, is where we're at.
Yeah, so pretty minimal when you guys are looking at windows. We've all been in the home where it's, a year, 2 years old, and all of a sudden you're seeing seal failures in multiple windows in one house.
Yep.
So
Yep. And so that's, to me, the number one thing. And because we're buying that glass, we also have the preserved film that Cardinal has, which is a protective film that comes from Cardinal to us, the manufacturer. So while we're building the window, we're not getting fingerprints on it. We're not getting caulk on it. We're not accidentally scratching it. When we ship it to the dealer's not doing those things. And when they ship it to you, your construction process is dirty and messy. And, and that protective film is protecting that glass until you're ready to pull it off right before close, leaving that glass beautiful, clean. So it's a really nice feature that they have that we include no charge.
Yeah. Can you speak to just kind of a little bit, we know you love the product. We can get into a bunch of the nerdy stuff, but almost talk to me like I'm a homeowner, I'm building a house, I'm remodeling. Why is yours good versus a competitor? And by the way, personal opinion, and I know it's Steve's opinion, competitors, they're competing with the high-level windows.
Yeah, that's our target. We're a vinyl window, which sometimes can be thought of in the industry as being an entry-level type window. But we specifically chose vinyl as the skin of our window because we can weld the corners of the sash and frames. And we believe that's the absolute best component. We want to be able to weld because of air and water infiltration. It reduces that potential to nothing. So that's a huge component in why we picked that vinyl versus some of the other things you can use as a skin, for example, wood or fiberglass. And so there's pros and cons to everything. Fiberglass is a very strong component. And so one of the things that we decided is because we want to use vinyl because we can weld it and fiberglass is strong, is we're using fiberglass internally inside of our window to create that strength. So not only do we have a chambered system that adds strength, but we're also filling with fiberglass at strategic areas in our window to give that window lots of strength. So we can tout really high structural numbers that many of our competitors can't get to. The other major thing that we're doing is on our mull system, we're using this very large piece of aluminum I-beam mull for our half-inch mull system. And what that does is when you're marrying two windows together, that piece is going inside and creates zero chance for deflection. So it's all about what we're doing to the recipe to build the cake. We're using the ingredients internally to build that really good tasting cake. But it's hard you can't see that. You put my window versus somebody else, you can't see all these things that are inside. So we need the TJ and we need the Steve to make people aware of that's the difference you're getting when you're buying Lindsay.
Yeah. And I think that's a big part of like why we came down and we just toured the facility is to educate people and even builders. Like they just see a price on a window where, most of the time people are just like, here's your window bid, right? Like as a consumer, we should be reaching out to whoever's building for us or Steve if you're going to do windows in Illinois or Wisconsin. So you can see, hey, what kind of glass should I have if I'm doing this in my house? Hey, what about, you guys can insulate in between your windows. There's just so many options that people have, especially with your product versus some of the other ones. It's just like, this is the size we make. Here's what you get with this window.
And that's a great point. It's a stickler of mine with a lot of builders is they're not giving any product knowledge to the homeowners. And they're just saying, here's the window we do, like it or not, there you go. My advice is ask questions, how energy efficient is that? Are there options where I can get more energy efficiency without spending a whole lot more money? Is this the bottom line of that window company or is there other lines to consider? Because most window companies have many lines to choose from and many different options that you can choose from. And you might find you really like a lot of those options and they're not all that costly to add them up. So it's important to ask those questions because it can be a big difference in the end product.
Yeah, and we'll put a video out, guys, talking about Lindsay options, and obviously that will help people trigger questions to ask maybe of whoever they're building with. Among when we send this to people, because we want to share this information so people know and like and trust the products we're putting into a home.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, guys, that's kind of it for this video. We're actually going to do some more video and content with Steve about some window products and stuff, but you can reach out on the page, comment, like, share, comment and ask questions that you might want to know about windows. Comment if you're building, and even if it's not with us, I can get you in touch with Steve about window packages. And again, that is one thing that we didn't mention in this video, but I think it's worth mentioning, is Lindsay has facilities all over the country, and they're specifically making windows for that portion of the country. So if you followed some of our other ones where we talk about the climate zones,
yes,
like you're specifically making and detailing those windows for the climate zone you're in.
And that's a great point. The strategy behind how we set up Lindsay as a company is we don't want to have some corporate office telling the whole country you need to use this window, and it's not perfect for your region, but tough, that's efficient for us. What we're doing is we're setting up our plants in these different regions and specializing the window to that region, so it makes the most sense for down south or out west or up north. And so you'll find on our webpage, it might be confusing because you got all these window options, but really here in Illinois, we have two, because the other ones are for areas where you wouldn't want that window because our climate's cold.
Yep, absolutely. Makes sense. So again, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, share, make any comments with questions for Steve or us about windows. And in the meantime, don't forget to raise your standard. We'll talk to you guys soon.